Hey dancers, welcome back to Broche Banter, your home for thought-provoking conversations about pursuing an art form in adulthood. Music is in the air in this week's episode, and I couldn't be more excited to welcome the wonderful Bruno Raco to the show. A professional musician from Italy with over 20 years of experience, Bruno has been immersed in music since childhood. When other kids played with toys, he did too, except his toy was a piano. Together, we chat about talent, perfect pitch, the long, hard road to becoming a professional musician, and the unique challenges of playing live for ballet classes every day. Tune in to find out why it's sometimes tricky to tell the direction of an electronically produced sound like your phone's ringtone, and prepare to fall in love with music all over again. And with that, enjoy this amazing episode with Bruno. Welcome, Bruno. I'm so happy to have you on Broche Banter today. Thanks so much for your time and for being here today. I can't wait to chat with you.
Thank you for inviting me.
We've been collaborating for now a few years in different contexts and have gotten to know you in many different ways. You've played for us both live on Zoom and have created our album that we collaborated together on, and have many aspects that we've worked on together. When did you start playing the piano? That's my first question for you. When did you get started as a musician?
As a professional musician, I started when I was about 20, but the journey, of course, was longer than that. And I was always attracted by the instrument. When I was 3 years old, I could already play something because my mother was playing. She was showing me a little bit, and I was so curious, and I wanted to do the same. So everybody knew in my family that I was kind of talented, no? And but we always kept it like a side thing, no? Okay, he loves music. And then when I was about 10, I had the opportunity to do it for free at school, and that was the beginning, because then it was so obvious that that was what I wanted to do, and so from let's say when I was 10, I've been playing every day of my life. So it's a long time ago, and then of course I did the conservatory, and then after that I started working quite immediately, and this was a long time ago. So as I told you before, the journey is very long, because music is a difficult subject where you have to update all the time, where you have to adapt all the time, where you have to, and it's like a language now that is spoken all over the world. So this also leads to you to travel a lot. So I've been living in many different countries, no, and finally now I decided to come back to Italy, where I was born, and it's like a kind of the end of a first circle, no. Then let's see what's going on next.
Do you know why you were drawn to the piano as a young child? Did you have siblings who were also similarly drawn? Do you know what it was about? Was it just the piano, or was it other instruments? I'm curious what really caught your attention as a young child.
No, it was all instruments, but I tried to touch, like physically, some other instruments, like the guitar. No, you need big hands. No, so as a child, it was not really so encouraging. I tried to see the violin, for example, doesn't have any keys to press. Now it depends really on your. But I think it's because in my family they were always listening to classical music, no, which is more like instruments, no. Music of nowadays is more like electronic, and so I was really listening to a lot of classical music, and also I always had a piano at home, no? And so as a kid, if you have a toy, let's say you have a truck, probably you will be like attracted to motors and things like that. No, I had the piano as a main toy. We didn't have PlayStation or video games at that time, and so I became quite familiar with the keys, and probably also because I had a perfect pitch. I was able to play melodies just by listening to them.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And so you have perfect pitch where you can hear a note and then you know what note it is that you're listening to?
Yes. This is a very common ability for musicians, no? And it's not like a switch. It's not a switch that either you have it or you don't have it. There are certain levels. Some people, for example, you move a chair, no, and they can tell you which sound is that, no? or they hear a bird, or they hear, for example, 3 or 4 sounds together, and they can tell you which notes. No, this is quite extreme, but it's not that because you have perfect pitch you are able to do that. No, if you are able to recognize the notes on your instruments without any reference. So if I press, for example, C, and I say this is C, and then I play another note and I say which note is this? This is more important than having perfect pitch. But it's considered already perfect pitch if you can recognize the notes without any reference on your instrument. Yeah.
Now, so as you grew to become a musician, so I guess really from 10 to 20 was the kind of the training period before you ended up getting work. What do you continue learning after that period of time? That's already quite a bit of learning, but how have you grown since the age of 20? Does the studying continue? What kinds of things are you learning beyond that? How does it continue to grow and develop over adulthood and over your professional career?
Yes, what I used to say is that when you finish the conservatory, when you are like probably 20 or 22, 23, no, we think this is an ending point, no, where we know everything, no, but as soon as we start working, we realize that this is the starting point. No, this is really the beginning. So what we did before is just growing with the instrument, getting familiar with music, studying the basics, because in 10 years you just learn the basics. It's not that after 10 years you're able to compose or to do anything else than learning a difficult classical piece. So the important part comes after, and it's also very slow, where you have to learn really to understand music like at a deeper level. You become much faster in learning. You can, for example, you start to learn how to improvise. You start to compose, and I also studied composition, and after piano, so I studied at least other 10 years just composition. And it's a world. It's everybody tries to develop his own language, but before that you need to be able to emulate, to copy, also other languages, starting from, let's say, Bach until Stravinsky. So when you master all the different languages, you can start to develop yours, if you can, and it never stops. So it's not that now I am kind of sitting somewhere and saying, oh, I have it all. No, it's always growing. It's always also the way you play. Probably for a dancer is a little bit different because dancers have less time, because also we become more stiff, more like it's a physical thing.
Yeah.
For music, it's also a physical thing, but it's only a little part of it. So you see people in the 70s, in the 80s that play much better than me or than anybody like younger than me. So it's more like a brain thing. It's something that develops very, very slowly.
Yeah, I find that to be a couple of things there. I find that to be something so interesting about musicians versus dancers. Like when I used to live in New York City and I would watch the New York Philharmonic, it was just incredible how amazing of artists these people are. And it's like they've had decades to develop their artistry. Whereas someone who's a professional ballet dancer, their window, like you said, their window of physicality is quite short to be at the top of your game physically, but to be at your top of your game artistically is so much later in life than you are physically. So it's like a bit of an interesting mismatch with dance where you don't get people's artistic contributions later in their life in the same way. I mean, it's a different contribution to show off the technicality of the human body versus to show off the expressive emotion of it. But when you hear musicians after decades of it, and it's as if it's their own voice, that this instrument almost becomes part of their body. It's such an interesting thing that you watch over the decades of people's musicianship.
Yes, I think this is one of the most amazing things in life, that especially in art, because we belong to the art world, But I think everywhere is that we have this slow development that goes until the end of our lives. So this it's what makes us really so happy to be here, Because imagine, that now you know everything. It's just finished, And there's no fire. There's no. Nothing to learn, but of course it's not like that. And also for dancers the same. the major choreographers are old, like not old, but they are all like people with decades of
Right.
experience. Yes.
Right. As it develops over, it has to percolate and coalesce over a period of a lifetime and a period of different experiences and different things to draw on. It's not something that coalesces at, like you said, 22 when you graduate, when you leave the training. That's like you only just now you're not aware of the language, right? You haven't learned to use it yet.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's like nothing. Yes.
I heard a very interesting conversation about the mentality of talent, about the difficulty of being a young talent, and one interesting portion that seems to have just been a bit of a breeze for you, and perhaps it's glossed over in the past. But what difficult thing is that oftentimes this conversation was saying that a person who enjoys learning and mastering the classics doesn't always make the bridge to enjoying creating their own art. Like they enjoyed mastering the language and mastering the rules of the game, so to speak, and then it becomes difficult for those super prodigies to then translate to creating their own thing because it's such a free form space. There's no rules, there's no right and wrong. It's like kind of creating your own art, and how that transition from being a young successful prodigy into a composer and an original creator can sometimes be a difficult bridge to gap. Have you seen that at all? I'm curious if that's a real thing or if that was just a rumor or some hearsay.
No, I saw it many times, but we
Hmm.
also have to say that there are many different talents. No, so there is someone who
Hmm.
has a talent, for example, as a composer, and it doesn't care so much about for example, the instrument or playing like a virtuoso on the instrument. Somebody else is really keen on that virtuoso technique and doesn't care about composing, for example. So there are different talents, and also there are different tastes. So probably I have an incredible talent for composing, but actually I don't like it. For example, can be also and because there are so many fields. It's like in other subjects it's the same. If you think about people like Leonardo da Vinci, they were able to they developed so many skills, because for example, medicine was not as developed as now. Now if you go to study medicines and you want to specialize, probably you specialize on the hands or on the feet, or no. And the same with music. It's if you play baroque music and you really like, probably you go deeply inside that, and you never play Chopin or Stravinsky. There are several pianists who never really played contemporary music, and some others who did it all. And so there are different talents.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I find more interesting about talent is that it's not so important at the end. No, it's a nice thing to have if you have a super talent, but I saw so many times people with super talents losing themselves by the way, and some other people with huge determination and willpower, with not so much talent, they did the job better than because at the end, I think it's like less than 50% talent. Of course, if you don't have it, it's hard, no. But
Yeah.
if you have it, not extreme, and you train a lot, and you know where you go, sometimes you pass in front of people who have extreme talents, but they are not organized. They are not. It's typical. It can happen.
It's such a, it's almost like a cliche, but it's so true. You see it in so many things like that. The talent doesn't get you as far as the work. I mean, I think when you're talking about something that's a 10-year journey to just begin the journey, right? That's basically what you said. This is a 10-year journey to learn piano, to just begin the journey of playing the piano. It
Yes.
takes it takes you have to keep going for so long. You have to love it at some level, right? You have to love it because I'm sure piano is like ballet or like entrepreneurship where there's so many difficulties along the way and there's so many reasons to give up along the way and there's so many hardships and there's so many challenges that you have to actually persevere for many decades before you see the success of it. So I'm sure it's the same in music. When you were going through music, did you ever find that you lost your why or your motivation or experienced burnout, or for you was it a pretty consistent, like, I know this is what I want to do, and you kept going through everything?
What I knew is that I could do it. No, that I liked it, and that I was talented enough. No, what made me like a little bit not so sure was the working market. No, you never know. Sometimes with music, the people are not so open. No, they think, oh, but why don't you study something else, something that is more like stable? No, but and so I was a little bit I was not convinced by the people, because now I am a musician, no. But it was hard to go against they ask you, what do you do in your life? Still now, here in Italy is seen as like a second thing, no. What do you do in your life? I am a musician. Oh, nice! How nice! Okay, and yeah, as a job, what do you do? And they said, I'm a musician. No, nice, nice. Yeah, but to survive, no, to earn money, what do you do? I am a musician, no? And so they look at you like they become serious, and they say, and can you live with it? No? But come on, everywhere you go, there is music. You go to the supermarket, there is music. You go to every shop, every place, restaurants, no, music is everywhere. You open the radio, no, it's all music. It's not people talking, no. Music is a huge market, is a huge, so we shouldn't be afraid of when our kids want to study music, or it's actually, there's a lot to do, and we can also earn good money depending on what you do. It's not it's like a subject, like a science, like everything else. I don't know why music is always, especially in the past, was always seen as a second activity. Yes.
I think the arts, yeah, what do? I'm a painter. Okay. Okay. It's almost like, okay, that's a nice hobby, right? But you can make money from it. It's very interesting. And then even as an adult, picking up an art form as a hobby is then also kind of strange, right? So it's not only strange as a career, but it's also strange as a hobby to begin to learn something like this in a, adulthood. It's so interesting that it's both strange in those contexts, but like you said, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. There's nowhere you go. There's no movie you've ever watched without music, unless it was a silent film. There's no movie you've ever watched without music. There's no like podcast without an intro music. There's nothing without, there's no restaurant without music playing. There's no bar without music playing, nothing.
Exactly, and it's quite well protected. So when you have your music done, you get your rights, you get your royalties and everything. It's actually, I think, even more stable than something else. Where do you find a job where you work one day, and because you worked that day, you get royalties for your whole life? Where do you get it? It's only music, no? It's not bad, no? And yeah, of course, if you have a kid and he tells you, I want to be a poet or a painter, it's quite scary, because you think, okay, but why not? At the end, it's his life, and if this is the way he wants to go, and he goes for it, because we have time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and then something is going to happen. It's a matter of going in the same direction for quite a long time, no?
It seems that it's the matter of passion and continuing that gets you where you're going, more so than the particulars about what you're doing. I think what you're doing will evolve if you're in it long enough. You will evolve into the cross section of where you can make some money from it, where the opportunities start coming, right? I think people can feel your passion, and it starts to coalesce into a thing that you enjoy, and that you can get little jobs here and there, and then it starts becoming like actual career. You can turn it into something that makes some money.
Yeah. Well, of course, when it turns into a job, cannot be always so passionate, and always it's not like that you sit by the piano and you play what you want, or you compose what you want. This is a huge privilege that I think nobody has it, because if you have a commission, if you have it's always like your time that you are investing or putting together to do some work. But there are many privileges, and when I think about myself, for example, working in an office for 8 hours, I really respect it, but I think I would go crazy immediately, and so when I come back to the piano, I think, okay, I have to study this in a short time, I have to do this and that. but at the end, I'm here. I open the window. I see the green. I see it's amazing. Yes, I do what I like, and I am where I in the place that I like. So it's a good situation.
That's what we can ask for.
Yeah.
So you've done many different types of things within music. You teach. Do you teach both kids and adults?
I did it a lot in the past.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore. If I find somebody who is doesn't matter if it's a kid or an adult who is already a little bit experienced now and wants to go further, yes, I do it. No, but I don't advertise myself like on the newspapers or anywhere else as a teacher because I already have quite a lot to do here. I don't think it's really my thing to teach. So yes, I would say mainly adults or people who are already like advanced. No,
Yeah, they're hungry. They're
Yeah,
hungry for the next level and for the depth and all of that.
It's more interesting for me if I have to
Yeah.
choose. No, of course, if you don't have to choose, you teach everybody. No, but and the same with playing for ballet classes. No, I am offered so many times to play for that school, for that academy. I was recently offered for La Scala in Milano. I know La Scala is internationally, but to move to Milano, which is quite great, and to work again like 35 hours per week, which is as a player, as a musician, is a lot. And I said no. Yeah, and it's like that.
Well, to be playing for ballet class for when that is your work, I imagine that takes an incredible amount of focus, right? Because you have to be completely present and you're playing and you're watching and you're making music on the spot. To me, that seems like it would require a great deal of presence. You can't just let your mind wander to other things. You're not checking your phone. You're not like checking your emails. You're like really in the moment. Is that how it is? That how it is?
Yes, I have to say, I think it's quite sad at the end because what you said, it's really true. You have to be focused all the time. You have to see what they are doing. You have to think in your mind which music you're gonna play, and you're gonna improvise the music. It's not that you're gonna play Chopin or because this is the job. The job is improvising. If people who are not doing this, they're not doing the job. They're just reading. Everybody can do that. The real job is very, very difficult. So you have to really match the notes with the exercise, with the dynamic, with the spirit of so you have to focus a lot. The class is normally 1 hour and a half, which like focusing like that for 1 hour and a half is really can give you headaches. And if you play 2, 3, or sometimes some people 4 classes a day, you go back home and that you don't know who you are. You're just like like that. Plus you need extreme talent because you need if you have perfect pitch, you have an advantage. But even if you don't have it, you have to have really an incredible sense of music. You have to be able to create music in real time. You have to know harmony super well. You have to, and I think people don't give enough importance to this job. Sometimes they make fun of the musician, like not really fun, but it's a serious job and it's tough. And I did it for a long time. And in some places, I was not really so happy about the feeling that I had in the classroom. So the respect that you also know, because most of the people don't know actually what you are doing. They don't know that you are actually inventing a piece of music for them in real time. And who else can do that? Because classical musicians, they don't improvise their music. Normally, they read a score, and that's what they do. And last time when we had now we didn't have a call, but I sent you a video about this Sherazade because you asked me for the notes. Now the truth is that I don't know. it depends on how I feel in that moment, no,
Yeah.
and I play it in a different tonality or in a different scale or in a different part of the instrument or with a thick accompaniment with many notes or with less notes, depending on what I see, how I feel. It's the way it goes. So it's a tough job.
Super tough. I remember in New York City, there's a lot of ballet pianists. A lot of the classes have live piano. And I just remember sometimes the teachers would yell at the pianist and like get very upset with them. And I think, how can you like it just always would make me feel like so bad. For me, it was always very stressful when the teacher was yelling at the pianist because I just can't imagine. I mean, I studied music through high school, so I only got to the beginning. I only got to the beginning, right? Like of music, but just like they have no music. I would just look, I would go behind to the piano and I would see there's no music sitting there. They're only just sitting there and playing. And then for the teacher to yell at them, I always found that to
Yeah.
be so unnerving. I would just leave class with a pit in my stomach because I couldn't believe that this person was making this incredible music. And then they're getting yelled at. I can't imagine that person coming back to work the next day. It just blew my mind.
Yes, fortunately, I think it doesn't happen anymore. But in the past, probably it was kind of normal to yell to the dancer, to yell to the pianist. But
But to the
later,
dancer makes sense. To the dancer, I can maybe understand. I can maybe understand that you're trying to get them. But to yell at your pianist who is providing you the accompaniment of your class, I can't believe it.
yeah, I think some people probably think that we are there because we are not um, actually able to do something else, not something I don't know, like playing concerts or teaching. No, and in some cases, probably it's even true. Playing concerts means it's not so stable. No, it
Yeah.
means that you have to look for it all the time. You have to study a lot all the time. No, and when you play for ballet classes, it's a different thing. It's not that stress like playing a concert. No, but yeah, a concert is probably 1 hour. No, and playing for
And
ballet
you
class,
and
if
you
you
get
play
lots of
all day.
applause.
You get lots of applause anyway, even if you. But yeah,
They
some
would just
people.
say, they would just say, play me a waltz. And I think, how can they just play you a waltz? In my head, I think, how can they just play you a waltz? They say, play me a polonaise. And I say, how can you just play them a polonaise right now? I don't understand how this is possible. It just blew my
I,
mind.
I should write a book about it because play a waltz is nothing. I mean, when the teacher is good, when the teacher knows what he wants or what she wants, it's easy for us to work. But what I used to get even in professional schools was I just imitate the teacher. So let's play something like pam pa 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 pam pa 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 pam. Okay, a waltz maestro. But you were singing a march, no? And now you ask me a waltz. No,
I
it's
see. They don't understand
one
themselves.
1 millisecond before you have to start to play, they say the opposite. They were singing 4/4 and they want a 3/4, or vice versa. They were singing 1 2 3 1 2 3. A march, please. No, and you know you have to be really used to it, and then you think in your mind, okay, probably she's confused, so you have to think twice. You have to think what she was probably thinking, what is her mistake, what she wanted. No, and of course you don't have anybody like on your side to talk about it. No, so you're alone like with the spear like that. Asking for the future, and for some teachers. Now, from some other teachers, they know exactly what they want. No,
Yeah.
and it's another thing. I used to work with this French colleague, Maxime, no, and he was often sitting next to me, no, and that was amazing because what was stressful, we could convert it in a laugh
Yeah.
together, no, because he understood immediately. No, he was turning at me, and she was singing in 4, but please play it on 3/4, no, he was used to say. So it's very important to have a music training for the teachers to
Hmm.
understand the basics of music, no, and also to understand how to use a pianist, no, because if I play for you, I am your instrument, no. You can really use me as an instrument. You sing something, and I will play something similar. You give me a rhythm, and I will play exactly that rhythm. If you give me something wrong, and then I play it wrong, and then you yell at me, yeah, and it happens a
It
lot.
stressful.
Yeah, and everybody is looking at you like you're crazy, but yeah.
Oh, it's too funny. Yeah, it's too funny. So when you today, like these days, when you sit down and play the piano, do you play for fun? Do you practice to improve your skills? Like what does your personal relationship with the piano look like when you're not getting paid to play the piano? What do you how do you listen to piano music? Like what do you like? What is your current personal relationship with your piano?
But you're talking about like the professional of ballet pianist, or what I do for myself when I am alone here, and
Yeah, for yourself when you're alone, like maybe I dance around the
when I
house.
am
Like what do you
alone,
do?
I have so many interests. Now, so I really go from Bach to Prokofiev to Stravinsky. Uh, I'm not so tidy, but you can see behind me, I have my books just here, and I pick one and I decide, okay, this Prokofiev sonata has to be done in 3 weeks, in 1 month, and so I go for it, and then it's mine forever. And then I pick, for example, here I have Chopin studies. I want to play the
Mhm.
whole book. It's 24 studies, and yeah, I really it's all difficult music. Doesn't matter if it's slow or fast, and quality is quality. So it doesn't matter for me if it's like baroque or contemporary. It's a little bit like if you like hiking, no?
Mhm.
Would you hike like by the beach or on the mountains? I don't care. I mean, I like hiking, and if there is a beautiful weather, probably stay by the sea, and if not, I don't know. And the music is the same. If you are in the mood, like it's windy, it's cold, I would probably play some Debussy, The Pas sur la neige, no, and if it's a sunny day, probably something else. It can change. I don't
Mhm.
have like I might say probably I don't have like a destination that I say, okay, I have to be as fast as hell in 6 months. I don't. After a certain point, you don't care. You are looking for really quality, for quality in music and possibly in how you play,
Mhm.
like in written music and in how you play.
Mhm. Why does I mean, society, obviously, music, art in
Yeah.
general, has been a part of our human society forever. Why do you think it matters? Like, why do we crave it so much? Why do we like to make it? Why do we like to consume it so much? What is your sense of what it brings to us as humans?
I think we need it. It's just like probably we don't want to admit it. Probably we don't realize. Sometimes I feel a little bit disturbed, no? As I am a classical musician, no, and I go shopping at the supermarket, no, and I have to listen to these tunes. Sometimes, no, depending on which type of music, and because I really listen, no, I really listen note by note, and as a musician, it comes here and it stays there. It's not. But I think for most of the people, it's like a background that probably makes them like I don't want to say more relaxed, but they just feel better now when music is there. And this is one thing that only human beings can appreciate. No, animals don't care about music. I have many cats here. They sit under the piano, but I think they're waiting for something to eat, not really listening to my Debussy, And my mother used to say that those are the gifts, the real gifts from God, if you believe in God, or from nature, no? Music, art in general, because if you take away the moments that you are working, that you are like stressed or focused on something, no, music and art in general is what is giving us like pleasure, really.
Mhm.
And music is probably one of the most incredible things. You cannot touch it, you cannot smell it, you cannot. One little boy asked to Toscanini, where I know it in Italian. He said, when music is not here, no, where does it go? No, and Toscanini was like, like,
It's a great
it's
question.
yeah, because it's actually here. We can hear it. We can no, and then when it's not here, where does it go?
Huh.
It's a strange question, no?
Yeah.
But it gives you the image of what music is, no? Something that is in the air, no?
Mm-hmm.
I really like when I see somebody playing in the same room, and when I listen, for example, to the speakers, no, it doesn't matter how much quality they have. It's really not the same. I'm not so. That's why when I go to the supermarket, I feel a little bit, no. But probably the same music, even a style that I don't like I don't know, punk rock or heavy metal. If I see it really with my eyes and I hear it in the same place, probably I like it
Mm-hmm.
because music it passes from the air, from the soul of the person, the hands, the instrument, through the air to our ears, to our souls. Some people realize because we are musicians, we are like, and some other people probably not, but they use the music. That's why music is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And it's so the question from that boy is so funny because in a sense, when music is playing, and I think just from, some people seem to feel music extremely deeply in their body, right? Like a very physical reaction to the music. It almost feels like the music is touching your body. Like you can almost feel the music in your body, especially depending on the acoustics or like how what you're listening to and what's going on with the drama. But like you can actually, it feels like you can touch it. It feels like it is touching your body in some
Yeah,
way. So it's actually, I think in some ways a strange question, but kind of an astute question of the kid. Like, well, where, like if my coat was touching me and I took my coat off, I have to put it somewhere. So where did it go? Because I do think that it is like the way you described it is so beautiful. I've never heard it described like this, that the music goes from one person's soul through the air to their body and into their soul. It really feels like you're communicating through this art form. It's amazing.
yeah. The instrument is just a part of your body, and depending, even an instrument like the piano, no, which has hammers. No, the piano is a percussive. It's a percussion. No, so you play the note, the hammer hits the string, and that's it. It's not that you move your finger or if you think something nice or bad, the sound will change. It's pure mathematic. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's why the even in electronic music, no, the difference between piano, forte, mezzo forte, no, it's called velocity. In
Mm.
MIDI music, it goes from 0 to 127, where 127 is the maximum. No? And it depends on how fast you play the note, not how, how much weight or strength you put. So if I play one note very, very fast with a little bit of energy, like boom, like this, it will be loud. If I play it slowly, no, the hammer will hit. So it's pure mathematics. And you think, with an instrument like that, how can I give a feeling? How can express? It's if you ask the machine to do that, it cannot do it. It's too much to calculate, not to try to humanize. There are some algorithms, no, but it's impossible. And for us, it's so easy. We play three notes, like with a certain mood, and everything goes smoothly through your fingers to the instrument, to the soul of the other person. It's
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of magic, no?
I think it's totally magic. It's very magical,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
can't explain it really, and we can't, like you said, we can't touch it, we can't smell it, we can't anything, but yet it creates a feeling and a communication. I think in many ways, language is magic. I can't believe we can make these sounds and make sense of them, and that you can tell another person what you're thinking with this language, and the music is totally magic too. And it's just wild. And I think with music, having grown up as a musician, I played the piano as a kid and moved on to the flute and then to the euphonium and then eventually left it and started ballet after that. My relationship with music has changed so much over time. And now, like with singing and dance, it's like your body is the instrument, and you just, when you really let it happen, I never got to the point in as a musician with an instrument to feel this. So maybe this, I'm curious to you if this is what happens
yeah.
with your instrument. But with dancing and with singing, the more you just allow the music to do the work, you don't do almost anything. You just like allowing the music to pass through your body. It's like a very different experience. Like you're not even you're just like the music will tell your body exactly what it needs to do. The music and the notes and the harmonies create the movement, and they create they create the art. Like when I dance with your music or with your albums and I'll share the videos with you, it's not that I choreographed anything. It's just that you listen and your body does, I mean, exactly what it needed to do in that moment, and it creates the choreography from the music. I don't. Does that happen from a music? Do you know what I'm saying? Does it happen from a music from the instrument as well?
Yes, yes. I think this is connected to what we were saying at the beginning. No, this experience that comes in a long time. No, is really that we reach the highest levels when we are able to relax completely. No, and let the music or the voice or the choreography, the dancing, come out like with no stress, with no yeah, becomes automatic. It becomes because as soon as you have tension in your hands or in your brain or somewhere else, you are kind of ruining the thing. So what is happening to you? It's actually a sign that you developed in the right way, and you are developing in the right way, because if you have to struggle, no, to invent something or then there is something wrong. It has
Mm,
to flow.
mm. Yeah, that flow state I think is so confusing in the beginning as an early musician or dancer, in that people learning the technique will say like, oh, I'm just overthinking it. I need to just do it. Or I need to just like, I'm thinking too much about this. But in the beginning, in a sense, you do need to think quite a bit about learning the thing and learning the technique. This sort of not thinking about it thing is different than learning a new technique. I don't know. I always find that interesting to explain, because a beginner will say, but it looks so easy. But it looks so easy. I'm working too hard right now. I shouldn't be working so hard because it looks so easy when the professionals do it. And it does. It's true. It is easy. It is easier later, but it's also not easy in the beginning. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
No,
like,
it's right. And for the dancers, it's so obvious. No,
yeah.
they see they are young. No, they have a lot of power. No, and probably they waste a lot of energy. No, and they see people in the last years of their career. No, everything is so smooth and so perfect. No, but I think the amount of energy that they put is not so much, because nothing is wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same for us as musicians. We learn the technique, we master the technique, and then we use as less as possible, like effort, like muscles. We try to save the energy because we need it like later for really for the piano. No, if you press a chord heavy and you keep it down like that, it doesn't make any sense, because once the hammers have spoken, they come back. You can press as much, but you see that all the time, especially young musicians. They play the piano and bam, bam, bam. Yes, play a very fortissimo chord, but then release immediately your fingers, because it doesn't make any sense to keep them. And you see also professional musicians, like famous ones, doing this. It's nice for the public to
Yeah.
see all that, but doesn't make any sense.
It's only for effect.
No, it's for them it's for effect, no. But for the musician, is probably he believes that digging inside the instrument, he gives something more. But really high level people save everything. So they project the music at the beginning. They train very slowly. They know exactly all the distances, all the harmony. And there are so many types of analysis that they can do, and they do them all. So they
Yeah.
they analyze harmonically. They analyze the muscle memory. Those are all types of memories that we use when we play. So our ear, our eyes, no, where I am looking when I play this passage, no, I am looking the right hand, the left hand, which finger. Sometimes you need to project all those things when something is so difficult, because otherwise you can practice forever. It doesn't. So you minimize the time, because you know exactly where to go, and then it comes like automatic.
Mm-hmm.
This is the work.
I have just two more questions. Why, in the beginning, we talked about it being very slow to develop, both the technique and then the mastery
Yeah.
later. Why is it so slow?
I don't know actually,
Yeah.
but what I think is that it has to be slow, because probably if we study like 16 hours a day, we really push a lot, we achieve some results like faster than others. No, there are some musicians that are in their 20s and they already have an international career. No, they have been pushing like also the family was pushing them since they were like small children. But if you're a normal person and you do it as you like, it's just long because the amount of things that you have to master is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And you take your time, and life is long and short at the same time. So it's the amount of time that you have is not so much, so it's a good compromise. It's even for people who are like incredible musicians when they are in their 20s, it's there is always this slow like journey. I think it's a little bit also like when you learn a language. At the beginning, in 6 months, doesn't matter which language you are able to speak. So the graphic goes like boom, like this. But then after that, to master, to really understand the small things, it takes a whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And with music is yeah, probably it's slow because we are looking for smaller and smaller things, and we go like deeper and deeper inside. There are some pieces of music that I've been playing almost every day for like 30 years.
Mm.
And every time I see something new because they are complex. They are like you already discover it's a world. It's really a world. It's like when you go into a forest, it's always the same forest, but sometimes you see some mushrooms, sometimes you see a little plant that was not there before, sometimes you see a flower, and it's the same. It's developing in your brain like a little forest.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes people confuse the slowness with impossibility, like that it's going to take a long time because it's impossible or because it's very difficult. And in some ways, I think it is difficult, but also it's a matter of, like you said, just the amount. Like each one thing isn't like necessarily that difficult, but there are so many things, and each one takes a period of time that can't be rushed. So if you've got 10,000 things you have to learn and each one takes an hour, you've got so many things you have to learn, right? You've got so many things that have to remember and build and create. And I don't necessarily think the length of the time means that you can't, but it means that it's going to take a while, right? It's going to take a while to master each individual piece. And I think that patience can be super tough when you just want to feel the freedom. I think people look at someone like you playing music and they want to feel that freedom, and they want to feel that connectivity with the music, and they want to feel the expression, and that they can almost already taste it before they can even get close to creating it themselves, because they can connect with a beautiful musician or a beautiful dancer so readily. I feel like that friction between where you are and what you can feel and like where you want to be, I think is where people get very impatient in those years of development.
Yeah, I think one problem is also that the concept of time nowadays is really quite wrong. Now we want everything really fast, and to be honest, this is one of the reasons I actually don't really teach, especially to small kids, because I always have this pressure that I have to learn in a short time, because there are so many on internet, for example, so many courses now. 5 days and you learn the piano. 5 days and you learn surfing.
Yeah.
5 days. And some
6
people
weeks,
believe
right?
that.
6 weeks to learn this thing. And it's like, but that takes people career to master. Like that's not a 6 week thing.
Some people believe that, no,
Yeah.
and they feel like, okay, in 2 weeks I will learn like C++ or maybe a language. No, we lost this idea of time. No, that in the past, I'm sure 100% it was not like that. It was normal to have a project. For example, let's compose a piece of music. It was normal to take 1 year to compose a sonata, no, or for Beethoven was even more, no. If you think about, let's talk about sonatas, no. Mozart wrote like 32, I think, no? And then later, the other composers wrote less and less. Chopin wrote 3, Prokofiev like 9, like less and less, no? Because music became more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because they were lazy, no? The language has become like more difficult, and so the time also to compose a sonata in that style was incredibly long.
Yeah.
In a whole life, Beethoven composed 32, and he is one of the greatest composers ever. No, and this is not only in music; this is everywhere. No, if you think, for example, would you plant a seed in the soil, no, to get a tree, for example? I don't know. Yes, no, but then you have to wait like at least 10 years to get something, no, and most of the people think, okay, no, I just buy the fruits at the supermarket, no. But I have a neighbor here. He's 86 now, and he's planting seeds everywhere, like trees, no, but not just for the others, but also for himself. No, he's very fit, and he thinks, yeah, why not? I mean, when planting trees is a good activity, you know. And I think I learned a lot from him, because so many times I think, okay, probably I'm old to start this or that, but I see other people of other ages who are really, they don't care, because time is also an invention that we have. No, it's a number, and it's, I think, only nowadays that everything has to be fast. Everything has to be learned like fast. So when I say, for example, the journey is long because it takes 10 years to study an instrument, and it's just the beginning, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, but probably you are like 5 when you start, and then when you are 15, you are already able to play some incredible pieces of music. No, why not? It's not a big deal. Some kids, they spend like hours and hours in front of the tablet, like seeing like silly things. I mean, this is my personal, but I don't think it's so long at the end. It's just how we feel it. No, we
Mm-hmm.
are a little bit scared sometimes when it's about learning something like music, that is or singing or dancing. I see so many times the girls, they come to the ballet school when they are 5, they train until 18, 19, they reach an incredible level, and then a couple of auditions, they don't get the job, and the parents, okay, now we do something serious, university. And I think, oh my gosh, they've been studying ballet for 15 years, 18 years, I don't know, and then they stop like this. It's okay, it's never a waste of time, but it's important to understand also that the time that we invest, it's probably long for other people, but for us maybe not. I remember that for me, for example, to learn a piece of music in 3, 4, 5 months when I was a student was normal. I was just sitting there, and for 5 months I was playing the same. Now the time is reduced. Now it's like probably 1 week to learn the same piece, no? But at that time was normal. And I was not thinking, my gosh, it's so long. I was just sitting there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why my last question for you is, for obviously our audience is adults, mainly
Yeah.
people pursuing ballet in adulthood, whether that's for the first time or coming back after, maybe they're one of these who studied until they were 18 and reached a high level. And then, 20 years later, they come back and they say, oh, why did I leave this? I loved it so much and I was so good at it, right? That's a common thing, as well as people starting it in adulthood. I guess one big question, is people do struggle to prioritize it in their life. Like you said, let's do something real. Let's do something productive. Let's do something like, serious, I think is the word you used, actually, not real, serious. Do something serious. Why is it worth it to learn an art form? Like, why is it actually the most possibly serious thing you can do? Why does it matter to someone to learn something?
I think we still have to develop a little bit in that sense, no, and understand really how art is important for us. No, art has been there for since the beginning of like society. Like we had music, like even thousands of years ago, no, even if we don't know exactly what, no, and it's I don't know why it's not like sometimes seen as a serious activity. Probably because I really don't know. But why we do it? It's because if you think about it, it's you have only one life. No, I really respect all the jobs that are out there. No, but if I have to choose to be in an office, like calculating the salaries of somebody my whole life, no, or being in touch with this beauty every day, I really have no doubt, no. But it's not that we can be all like musicians or all like happy with our jobs or no. But still, let's try to understand it more, no, and to keep like a window open to understand if somebody wants to be a musician, because I see working with kids sometimes so much time, so many times the kids wanted really to be a musician or to be an artist, and then the parents didn't really understand and push them to do something else. No, the typical scene is that when I asked, would you like me to teach your kids? No, I would do it for free because I see that they're talented. No, they used to say, listen, if they come to me and they say I would like to play the piano or maybe I wouldn't say not, but I wouldn't push them or ask them if they want to play an instrument. No, so it's like let's hope they don't do it. No, because then who knows what happens. No, and another problem probably is also that our level like of music nowadays is really going down. Now you were talking about singing, no, because you told me you also started as a singer and as a musician, no, and you can see how, for example, autotune has contaminated all music types nowadays, no.
Yeah.
Which it's a style, I understand. It's can be also very nice, no, but let's not forget that every voice is different, every voice is beautiful, no. So if we delete that to make it like more electronic, more, so let's do it to the piano, let's do it to the violin, let's do it to it's and many times those electronic variations are really used for some music that is not really, as a musician, no, not so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a type of the market that is really growing a lot, which probably is the wrong one, because piece of music has to be 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes maximum, because this is the maximum that we can concentrate.
Right.
This is a problem that we might discuss another time, no? But if we're talking about time, a sonata can be 35, 45 minutes, no? Who has the time to listen to a sonata from the beginning to the end, and who will understand what is going on from the beginning to the end, no? They asked me to play the Moonlight Sonata. I played the intro, no? Oh, bravo, 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 bravo. Yeah, but the Moonlight Sonata, the whole sonata is like 20 minutes. The first movement, which is the one that everybody knows, is like 5, no? So please listen to like 5 minutes. No, they cannot do it. I don't know a single person who can really listen and concentrate with the Moonlight Sonata from the beginning to the end of the first movement, no? So that's why we think 10 years study is a long journey, no? Probably it's not.
With the singing, it's so interesting where, I started singing I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago by now. And, I record myself singing because obviously when you sing, it's so different in your head than what you actually sound like. So, while it's very painful to listen to yourself sing, it's very, a very, very helpful tool. And in the beginning, I would get so confused, like why, would sing a pop song or something. And it's like, why does this sound so different from the song? Like, why does it not even sound like a voice? And my teacher's like, it's been like they taught me that I had to go listen to actual covers or like acoustic covers if I wanted to get a real comparison of what a human voice sounds like singing. Cause I didn't even realize necessarily. I mean, I just listened to, I grew up mostly listening to classical music, not really vocal things. So then when you listen to vocal things, all I heard was really pop music or opera or, only those two dichotomies. And I didn't understand understand what a natural human voice sounded like singing. And so I would ask, why does it sound so different? My voice doesn't, like, I can't explain the timbre, right? I didn't know about timbre in the beginning. I can't explain why it doesn't sound the same. And then you start listening to covers and you say, oh, okay. So you can hear the person's natural voice and you can understand that everyone has a different tone and that your tone is just one of many tones, and you don't need your tone to sound like them, but it can still sound very good. And like, you develop your own instrument and voice. It was just so interesting that I didn't even know. Like, even someone who studied music so deeply in my youth, I didn't even know that I wasn't listening to humans sing. I didn't realize.
Yeah, nowadays it's unbelievable. There are some plugins now that you sing at the microphone, and it's making like the choir, the vocals now. I recently saw a friend of mine. He's not a professional musician, no, and he said, "Let me sing something for you." He had only one guitar, no, and his voice with the microphone, no, and he had a pedal down there. I'm not an expert, so probably for some people it's completely normal, but for me as a classical musician that I do everything but myself by myself, no, was unbelievable, no. He recorded the guitar like, and then it entered like a loop.
Yeah.
And then he pressed the pedal, and then he was playing another part together. So already two guitars together or three. And then he was singing, and at a certain point he pressed another pedal, and there were two people singing together. No, it was unbelievable. No, even with the filter, that his voice was deeper, was more crunchy, was more beautiful. Yeah. I don't know. No, and I thought, look at that. No, he's not even a professional musician or a singer. No, and he is doing actually a beautiful song. Like it sounds so professional. No, like. But yeah, human voice is another thing. You know, every note is composed by 16 harmonics. No, when I play a C on the piano, no, what you hear is not only the C, is 16 notes together. No? And there was a guy who discovered that thing, whose name was Helmholtz. No, and he constructed some metal like spheres, no, and each sphere was vibrating for the different harmonics, no, and so he discovered there are 16, and that's why the hammers on the piano, they are at the beginning of the beginning of the strings, because that's where the most dissonant harmonics are, no. So when the hammer hits them, automatically deletes them, no. So when I play some notes on the upper part of the keyboard, no, they sound like so crystal clear. Even if I play 5 notes or 6 notes together, no, it's really a clear chord. When I play down, it's more confused, no, it's more like blurred, no, because the harmonics, they go higher and higher, no. If I play 3 notes here and you put those 16 notes together for each note, it's a mess, no, it's a lot of notes altogether. Yeah. And that's why you hear this strange sound. And even human voice has harmonics, the same 16 harmonics, no. So I know in Italian, no, I would not translate in English, but you play a C, you have, which is do in Italian, no, do, do, sol, do, mi, sol, si bemolle, do, re, mi, fa diesis, sol, la bemolle, la diesis, si, do, 16 notes together. If you play your voice, if you record your voice with the auto-tune or with any other filter, the first thing you delete the harmonics. When you delete the harmonics, one of the first results is that you don't know where the music is coming from. Sometimes your phone is ringing and you don't know exactly what it is, now, because electronic sounds do not have harmonics. They don't give you the sense of space, which, I repeat, is a style. It can be beautiful and nice and new. Yeah. But now it's everything like that, and we don't even know why. We think a singer is like so special, and probably that person don't know even how to sing. It's just that the autotune is correcting this. Then combined to the fact that we always use the same 3-4 chords, that makes. But it's unbelievable, no? Still, with music, so easy to produce and to understand, it's everywhere. So again, music is important for us. We just need a little bit more of knowledge. We just need to listen also to other types of music, like classical, for example, the jazz, quality music. And then we're done. We can really embrace this journey altogether, no?
Are these harmonics, my teacher says, the word overtones a lot, like that you want to have these overtones in your voice. Is that sort of the same? Do you know, is that word kind of similar to this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess that's why when you're hearing the pop music, or it doesn't sound human, or like it doesn't, when you hear your own voice, it sounds different than when you hear these pop songs, which are almost like flat, or I don't know if flat's the word, but like
You
close.
said the right word. Everything is flat. If you see the waveform, for example, let's say you download a classical piece of music and you put it and you see the waveform on your screen. You will see like that sometimes it's very narrow, sometimes it's like doing like this, sometimes it's huge. If you download a pop song or a rock song, no, which I also listen to pop and rock and I like it. It's not, but it's what we call like the sausage. No, it's like it's really like that. No,
Flat. Yeah, flat.
it's
So
really
it's really that word. It's flat. It's like condensed or
flat.
compressed or
It's
something
flat.
like that.
It's flat. We
Yeah.
we 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 cut also the difference between a wave file and the MP3. For example, we all have MP3s in our phones, because it's lighter. No, it's less megabytes. No, but in order to have this file, they cut the highest frequencies, the lowest frequencies. No, and it's more sausage again. No, for a ear that is not trained, it's totally fine. It's totally okay. It's a good compromise. No, but music is much more than that. No, and when you buy earphones, for example, no, if you read the range, no, of a frequency, you will see that it's far more than what you can hear with your ears. No, so if my ears can listen only a certain range of frequencies, no, which is less and less as we age, no, why my earphones are able to produce like frequencies of so low frequencies or so high frequencies, no? And it's because it's proof that even if we don't hear them, they have an impact on us, and,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why. So we should look more into that instead of cutting and cutting and cutting and make it like more flat. But this is a cultural problem, no?
Yeah. It's an
Can you imagine?
efficiency.
Can you imagine you go to see an opera, no? The Barbiere di Siviglia, no? Rossini, and it's everybody is singing like without a tune, and everybody is singing like flat, and dynamic is everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the beauties of listening to really old music is that I find it incredible that we all feel the same feelings, that these music will resonate with the same heart and soul as people hundreds of years ago. So like you can relate to them. You can relate to these very old, well, they were not to say old when they made it, but a different time period of people having a totally different set of problems, living a totally different life, speaking a totally different language. They didn't have they had such a different lifestyle than we have, and yet they had the same human experience. They had the same feelings and they had the same emotions. And I feel like when you listen to this old music, you're like, how can I relate to this? How can I relate to this person who lived in this time period? And I couldn't read them. I couldn't read their writing. They don't speak English. Like I couldn't read what they wrote, but yet I can feel what they felt. I find that to be one of the most powerful things of looking at old or listening to old music. Is like, wow, they get me. How did they get me? How do they understand me from so long ago? It's amazing.
Yeah, they had different means. Now they had different techniques, and they used what they had. But the intelligence is intelligence. So if they were geniuses at that time, no, the message that we get is amazing. But we have to understand that it's an old thing. So we have to have this switch in our brain that we can. No, it's not that because we don't hear a beat. No, you see some playlists, no, classical music with a beat. No, and then yeah, so many people listen to that now because at least they don't get lost. Because one of the biggest problems is that you pick a piece of music, it's longer than a pop song, no, and this is already a problem. If you start listening to it in the middle, like let's say you are listening to the radio and Moonlight Sonata just in the middle when you go there, it's a problem, no? But a pop song or something else doesn't matter really. You can get it in any point, even at the end, no? And it's fine, no? Even if you don't know it. And yeah, in the old times, this concept of time was completely different. No, you don't find a piece of 2 minutes. It's quite rare. Probably some preludes, yeah, because the prelude has to be like that. Prelude is like an impro. It's not something that can go so, because otherwise, if you make a prelude of 20 minutes, no, it's obvious that there's a problem. If you improvise for 20 minutes, then you will see the really something that is not working, no, even if you try to adjust it. But a sonata, for example, a symphony, or everything is quite long.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Bruno, I could talk with you all day about music. Do you have any last kind of points or words that you want to share with people who are developing a budding love of music or of the arts, that you want to make sure to be able to share today?
Yeah, I would like to suggest that the people to meditate a little bit on what music is, no, how often they listen to music because they want to listen to music, but also how often they find music when they are outside, to be more aware, no, okay, in this place there is some jazz, let's, to be more aware about music. You see some people playing and in the street or in a restaurant, I don't know, and when they stop playing, that's the moment where people do the applause, no, but maybe they were not listening, they just heard the stop, no. No, listen to music, try to develop a taste, no, don't take what is given to you, like when you switch on the radio, you hear the hits. There isn't any research. When you open Spotify or any other platform, you get all the songs that are like more famous now, because this is the market. But you can search, and you can find your and you don't have to be afraid to do that, because I think people are kind of develop your taste and look for it. Just try. Now maybe you discover that contemporary music of the 20th century is your thing. I don't know, and it's really giving you something special. So it's not. You have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also when people who have small kids and try to be open if they want to be musicians, because there is a lot to do, and there is good money out there also for some people. But the real goal is to have a happy life, because it's all a circle. It's all probably the person who likes music of a certain type is also the people who is fighting for nature, for it's awareness is awareness everywhere. So let's try to be aware of everything and connect more to the music. Yeah.
Wonderful, Bruno. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights. I'm really appreciate it so much, and love all the places we got to touch on, Bruno. Thanks again for your time and for all of your beautiful music that we dance with all the time in class. We appreciate it so much. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. You're welcome.
All right, dancers, I hope you loved that episode with Bruno. He and I could have chatted all day about music. I will link all of his amazing Spotify and Bandcamp websites in the description. So if you'd like to listen to his music or support his wonderful art, you'll be able to do so. I'll be back in your ears next week with another amazing episode. And until then, I wish you very happy dancing.